G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach, providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present Jump On, Jump Off as we head into round 8. And joining me as always in this series is Brad from SuperCoach Pro. Brad, how are we going?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Just getting ready for the team sheets tonight to drop, and then that will nullify what I'm going to do in my trades. How are you going?
Nah, going good, mate. Us both being in the top 1%, I mean, obviously you're flying. You're absolutely flying, rank 357, something like that.
Yep.
So it's good to see you having such a ripper season. And this is the earliest I've been into the top 1% of any season I've had. So feeling good myself as well. So I'd like to think we're giving out good advice at this point now. So let's get into it. So we obviously start with the most traded out players. Before we get started, make sure you follow Supercoach Pro on Twitter and subscribe to his channel. He's absolutely flying. He's having a ripper season, so he deserves the reward of getting the Supercoach community's backing. And obviously, like and subscribe to the video. Comment down below what your trades are. The number one most traded out player for this week, for the second time in th 3 weeks, he is number one, and that is Sam Davidson. So 310k with a break even of 50. Do you think it's time to move on?
Yeah, time to move on. Yep. Easy as that for me. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's perfectly fine as a hold for another week if you've got bigger issues, but 50 break even isn't too bad. But it's hard to read what he'll do in at that Ballarat ground. I don't really know how to read the wind and need to see the weather conditions there. I don't know about you last week, but I saw him a lot more forward of the ball than previous weeks.
Yeah, I felt like that a little bit as well. So it's hard to read. He'll give you a 50 or a 80 every given week. So his break even's right where you sort of want it to be. You need to upgrade primos anyway. You can't hold these rookies and fall in love with them. So for me, yeah, trade.
Absolutely. The number two most traded out player is close to being the rising star leader so far this season. There's Murphy Reed. What a first season he's had. Obviously fell into the draft, picked late in the first round by Fremantle, and he has shown a lot of faith into and Freo has shown a lot of faith to him. So he is 308k, great rookie if you ended up going there. Break even of 64, so that's about par on what he could get. So I think this is perfectly fine to jump off and wish him the best of luck. He's been a ripper pick this year.
Yeah, that's another one I've missed. I didn't miss Davison, but I missed Reed, and he's been great for owners. And again, he's been probably a trade out for the last couple of weeks, like Davison. So for me, you need the cash, you need an upgrade. Go get some fallen primo for his price at about 150k difference. So yep, trade.
Agreed. Now at number three, we've got Luke Trainer. So I was thinking early in the week to trade him, but I gave it a bit more thought, and I actually think this is more of a hold this week, and you get to see what his cash generation is looking. See his break even the following week when his two is out of his system. So if you held at this point, you're probably better off just holding and just seeing how much more money you can get. He could probably still get to maybe 300k, but do you think would you still jump off?
It really depends on teams. Again, I've looked at trading him out too, but that two comes out of his system, as you said as well. So it really depends what it gets. I probably wouldn't downgrade, I must say. For this particular trade, you'd want to upgrade, not downgrade to the rookies that are there. So
Agreed.
it's a trade. It's a trade only if you're getting a primo for him, not if you're downgrading someone to him.
Yep. 100%. At number four, we do have Levi Ashcroft, another sensational rookie that we have been gifted. We thought he was going to be sub round one, that change, and what a rookie he's been. So, with a break even of 48, he goes up against the Suns last game of the round. I think there's another week to this, but again, similar to what we've said from above, like if he does get help you upgrade cadence, I think it's fine. Like he's sort of max sort of his cash, so. I think it's fine to move on.
Yeah, I've seen his fixture is pretty juicy as well, but these guys are first year players, so expectations can't be huge for them anyway. So you can trade a hold depending if you can get rid of rookies before him because he's probably one of the ones you'll last upgrade. But again, if it facilitates a move, there's no reason to hold the guy because if your primo goes up that you're looking at 30, 40k and then he only makes 10, 20k, you've lost out even if you've held. So team dependent, but I'd, at my point of view, probably trade at this point.
Yep, I agree. Number five, Sam Lawler for the Tigers, number one pick. He's got a break even of 67. Coming up against the Hawks. He's delivered some really solid scores throughout the season. There has been a couple of down games like this Melbourne one, few there, but that 112 really helped boost his cash generation up by another 50, 60K. But with a break even of 67, I think his time is probably up at this point. I think the forward DPP is handy, but similar to what we've said above, you can move on if this facilitates a premium.
Yeah, I'd trade out because of his lulls in there. Like he's got a
Yeah.
high break even, plays Hawthorn, so he's made you 100K. I'd probably trade now before the cash starts to go in the negative after this week. So yeah, sell high, buy low. Yep, I'd get rid of him.
At number 6, we do have Isaac Kako, the young small forward sensation out of Essendon. 25 break even. This is probably one of the few I would actually hold. I feel like a breakout game is ready for him. Break even of 25 is okay for another week. So I would probably hold and prioritize a few of these guys above. So if you do have Kako, I'd give him one more chance.
Yeah, do you remember our Kako versus Power Pepper thing at the start of the year? I said go Power Pepper.
I think we both said Powell Pepper.
Oh, okay, all right. I might be throwing you
Yeah.
out here.
I was never a fan of the Kako
Oh,
rookie.
okay.
Like, yeah, but I
I threw you
traded
under
out.
the bus.
I traded out the dickhead round one, so fucking fuming.
I got
But
rid of him.
yeah,
I got rid of him to bring in Brayshaw, and then he done 3 tons. So I messed up there as well. Like, but anyway, what do you do?
yeah, that's fine though. I did it to bring in Elijah bloody Hewitt, and
Oh, yeah, that's
then I
rough.
traded Hewitt out again, and I can't
Oh
get the
no.
rookies right.
Yeah, well, for Kako, you might hold and you could loop him because he's got tonight's game against
Yep.
North. But like we've seen, he got a 99 in the preseason, but he's only made you 68 grand, so you could probably hold a week for this one.
I agree. At number 7, we do have Jackson Pryor, 285K. He's turned out to be a lot better a rookie than I thought he was going to be. I'm not going to lie, but I'll tell you what, he's not really a player I really rate. I don't know if you watched a bit of Bombers footy. He looks very shaky sometimes, but he's gotten us some cash, which is good. 33 break even. I think this could be a hold another week, but at the same time, I think this could also be a guy where we could look to upgrade, similar to what we've said above. So I think whatever works, Brad.
Yeah, probably on the more hold camp just because the break even is so low and he plays North Melbourne, so he could get another spike game. For me, I'd personally hold out of all these rookies. He's one of them.
At number 8, we do have Mitch Nevitt. So he was one of the more talked about rookies in pre-season. Unfortunately, for the second time this season, he has been ruled out with a foot issue. Plantar fascia he's been dealing with a fair bit. The break even's still low, but the cash generation is halted. Would you look to move on this week if he isn't named?
Yeah, the only annoying thing is you only get 60K out of him if you go down to
Yeah.
a Hurst weight. So you almost might hold and just use him as a loop and hope he comes back. But a planner, we know players miss so much time on that. So maybe a trade for this one if you're desperate.
Yep. At number 9, we do have Finn O'Sullivan, pick 2 in the draft. Um, has got DPP, but it feels like every week the jump on, jump off, he's been on this list. And I think the same answer is it's the same answer from us every time. He's very slowly making money. It's just not a rookie you really want to hold on to. So I'm very comfortably in the camp of trading out. Break even of 59. I think he's only surpassed that score once this season. Just move on, please.
Yep, I think you summed it up well. Like he's barely hit those break even numbers that he's about to go to. So probably cash him out now before he goes negative. That.
Yep, I agree. Number 10, the only 400K plus player. So that's good to see. A lot of people prioritizing rookies now over swapping some of these premiums. But at number 10, we do have Riley Sanders, who has developed quite nicely throughout the season, but with a score of 56 against the Giants. Giants are a tough matchup, but at 403K, it costs less than 100K to get him the Petrarca. And I think that's probably the easiest move you can do all year. I'd be jumping off now.
Yeah, I'd be going up, for track for 97K extra or like even a Warner for a 60, 70K
Yep.
boost as well. So yeah, he's a jump off for me. If you held this on, like at least he's made you a bit of coin, but yeah, definitely trade him.
Yep, of course. So, yeah, that's probably the best list of trade outs that I've seen all season thus far. So, good stuff, coaches. Now, let's talk about the most traded in players. And then, number 1, there was a different number 1 early in the week, but it's now been moved up to the pencil Henry Hustwaite at 121k. Got a fairly nice run coming up as well for midfielders. He's obviously in for Connor Nash, who got a 4-game suspension. He isn't on the bubble this week, but he's the most traded in rookie for this week. Would you wait a week if you can? Would you wait a week on Hustwaite, considering he's not on the bubble, or would you be content with just jumping on now?
Um, I'm in either camp, but the only thing is, if you jump on Hurstwaite this week, do you really want to go bus swinger next week and hope that he doesn't get dropped? So there's probably nothing much on the horizon. So for me, it really, if it gets you a primo, then you full send and you're not
Yeah.
really worried about his job security because at least you know he's got 4 weeks in the system. But you got to also cross your fingers and hope he doesn't get injured. So yeah, well, for me, I'd probably trade him in if you needed to for a primo.
If you need a primo, it's perfectly fine to jump on Hustwaite. Just keep in mind there's risk coming with early rookies. So if you're happy to take that risk, then go for it. He should be a good rookie with good CBAs for the next few weeks. Number two is Oscar McDonald from the Dockers. Yeah, this is not for me. With Jackson, this pick may not even survive tonight. Jackson looks like he's back this week. Patrick Voss is coming back from suspension next week. You would think Oscar McDonald goes way for one of those two. Might get one price rise if he holds his spot. I love Oscar McDonald. I think he's an absolute warrior of a player, a bit of a journeyman, but he's gotten the absolute best out of himself. But no, I would not look to get him in as a rookie. Brad?
Yeah, no, for me too. As like you said, those two players to come back in the side. So yeah, for me, I'd probably pass on because he probably will get named tonight, get everyone sucked in, and then get dropped the week after once that suspension has been fulfilled. So for me, probably not. I'd almost rather bus, even though that's riskier. So yeah,
Same.
no, yeah, no for McDonald's.
No. Number McDonald's. Number three, we've got Christian Petrarca for the D's. Delivered his first ton of the season against the Tigers. He's now at a 497k price tag, which seems quite a fair bit of value for Petrarca. Obviously, was started slowly this season. Part of that was due to a lot of forward time, but now he's really picked up the midfield time, which is perfect because he's now got that DPP. I think he's very much a jump on, one of the best options for this week. So at 497k, I think this is an absolute bargain for what kind of player he can be. So I'd be jumping on
Yeah, I'd jump on. Like he's got West Coast this week, and what's the break even for Petrarca? Actually, I want to know that.
70.
Yeah, yeah, you jump on this week.
Yeah.
You don't want to keep paying up for these kind of guys, like, and you just sort of hope after this West Coast game he maintains his form. So yeah, jump on.
Yep, I agree. Number four, we have got a rival to Christian Petrarca as a forward option for this week, and that is Chad Warner. 461k seems great value for Chad Warner. He probably is more prone for those spikes over Petrarca, but has a lower floor. So he could be a really handy 24th primo if you want to chase those spikes throughout the season and just loop him. 3.2% are looking to trade him in. He's dropped 98k. I don't think the role is still perfect, but we know what kind of player he can become. So this is probably decent chance this is his lowest price of the season. After the Giants game, he's got a really nice fixture. I think he's fine to jump on, but if you want to hold for next week, I think that's perfectly fine too.
I'm upgrading him this week because I need a primo like Sinclair the following week. So I'm probably going to
Yep.
cop the tag and know that he's going to be in for a bit of a lull. But the fixture opens up in the green for Chad Warner after this, and also same thought process. I'll push him to my 23rd once I fully upgrade my side. So for him, he's averaged 103 last couple of seasons. We know what he can do, but we also know the roller coaster that he is. So I'd rather Petrarca over him. But if you get strapped for cash like me, then you may as well just go Warner for the price, and the buy is actually pretty friendly for most teams as well.
And also, I think sometimes a thing we don't add. How good is he to watch when you're an owner? He's just such a good
Yeah.
player to watch, and it's just fun to own. So you'll be able to ride the ups and downs of Chad Warner, but he is a young superstar for the coming in. So number five, we do have 681,000 Marcus Bontempelli. 3% are looking to bring him in. I just think this is far too much money to be spending on any upgrade. I think we're all starting to adjust a little bit where we think, oh, gee, wait, hang on, I don't really necessarily need be paying this much money for a player. And this does affect your upgrade cadence down the line. He's not highly owned, so he's not going to kill you if you don't have him. So 3% are looking to get him in, try to get ahead of the pack. I just think you've got to try and hope he can go down in price. And if he can get to like 610K at any point, then that would be brilliant. So I wouldn't be jumping on Bontempelli.
Yeah, I wouldn't be jumping on either. Like the price is too high, hinders your cadence for upgrades the next couple of weeks. But the other thing is too, if he got subbed out again at 3/4 time and he's already not sitting on a ton, it could be a really annoying score for you. So you're probably hoping he gets managed a little bit. All he needs is a couple low 100s and he'll be back down to the low 600s. But yeah, 680 is too much for me. So I'd actually pass on this for me.
Yep, I agree. Number six is actually another competitor for a forward. So really good week to upgrade your forward line this week if you can. Number six is Isaac Rankin, and I think this is a terrific option. With Crouch being out for 4 to 6 weeks, I don't think he'll become a full-time midfielder, but you'd think there would be a little spike in CBAs coming up for Rankin. Did have that injury problem a couple of weeks ago, but now he's with that score against Fremantle, he's looking like an absolute prime candidate to trade in if you want to. So I'd be jumping on. Now, the question would be, would you go Petrarca over Rankin or Warner over Rankin? So that's a thought for people without these three. So just before you give your opinion on Rankin, I want you to rank Petrarca, Warner, and Rankin 1 to 3.
Oh, it's hard because you're going off recency bias. Like we probably think Traka, especially if you can go back to what he's averaged before, like those 110s. So for me, there's probably more upside on a Petrarca in previous seasons. So probably Petrarca 1, just 2 Rankin, and Warner 3 for me. Are you in the same boat?
I'd probably go Rankin 1, Petrarca 2, Warner 3, but I think they're all very good options. So I'm not saying we're putting Chad Warner at 3 because he's a
Yep.
bad option. All three are great options. It's whichever one helps your side the best. So what was your thoughts on Rankin?
Yeah, I'd definitely bring him in. Like you said, he looks like he's overcome those injuries, so it's hard to actually navigate what he's going to score from here on out because he looks like to be over those injuries. His CBAs, like you said, also will go up in the next 4 to 6 weeks with Matt Cratch out. So for me, yeah, probably a bring in this week. Like he plays Carlton, and you wouldn't think he'd get tagged by Hewitt. It'd be someone like maybe Dawson at stoppages. So Rankin's probably going to be a pretty loose man and get a lot of CBAs more than he has the last couple of weeks. Even though that split's pretty good for him anyway, regardless. So yeah, jump on.
100%, and he's not on the list, but keep a little eye on Sid Draper, 87 break even. You would expect that those CBAs to rise, and he could be a rookie downgrade next week.
Yep.
At number 7, Jed Busslinger. This is a guy we're sort of hoping and waiting for to become a downgrade, and his time is very soon to be happening. 2.3% are looking to trade him in, 119K. Has put Liam Jones back into the VFL, so you'd hope that he can keep this form up and hopefully no dropping inside for Jed. But yeah, I think this is probably fine to go early on. 2.3% are looking to get him in, so I think this is fine, Brad.
A little bit too risky for me, just because
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to get rid of. It depends on your rookie bench. If you've got Trainer, Reed, and Pryor, you're probably fine. But if you're like me and you got Leak and Carroll, again, team dependent, you wouldn't do it. It really depends on your rookie bench. But I'm more likely to wait a week on Busters to see if Jones is named back this week or next, and then also see if Cleary's dropped, who's also a backline rookie for the Doggies. So for me, I'd rather wait on a bubble, but I do understand if you got good enough rookies on the bench and the worst, he's your loop at some point. Yeah, to facilitate an upgrade, there's a world where you can do that for sure. But for me, no.
Fair enough. Fair enough. At number 8, we've got Lockie Neal, who's cherry ripe for the picking as a primo upgrade this week. 79 break even heading into the Suns. We obviously know how much of an absolute champion Lockie Neal is. So whenever he doesn't get tagged, he cuts 6. So if you're looking for a mid upgrade, I think he's right for the picking this week if you want to grab that. So I have no issues with jumping on.
Yeah, I like him too. Like I think he's good for the price, but I also think he's a guy you comfortably antipod to those tags that come up as well. So I don't hate it, but I'd almost go to route of a bit of a pod pick depending on what your side looks like. But definitely for the price point, probably the lowest we'll see him for a little while. The fixture comes good for Dunkley and Neil as well. We've got to remember that. So, yeah, for his price, it's probably the one I really like at the moment is Neil. You just got to cop those tags when you do. But in saying that, those tags might happen when you've got a flex and all your teams upgraded as well. So you can probably carry one of a Dawson, Chad Warner, or Neil or Dale, but you wouldn't want to have two or three of these guys on your side because the flex only benefits one of those players, not all four.
I agree, mate. At number 9, we have got my goat, my ex-girlfriend, Matt Flynn. We came back together in the relationship last week, and we just had to settle our differences and just give it a second crack. So, and that was with a lot of people starting Flynn as well. So 341k went up 79k this last week, which is a lot. And would you still look to bring Flynn in again? I think 341's okay to pay for, but this is by no stretch of the imagination the last chance if you want Matt Flynn.
Yeah, summed it up well. Last chance for Flynn. Yeah, I don't want to pay any more up for that, but it really depends where he's sitting. Like, I wouldn't want to waste him at R3. I know some sides can, and for various reasons, but to have him at flex would be fine. But I certainly wouldn't be getting rid of my R2 for him as well. So it's really strategy dependent. But he's definitely going to make another 60, 70k this week. But yeah, the time was definitely last week. But yeah, you could definitely jump on if you needed to.
Yep, agree, mate. And it was obviously ideal to do it last week, but it's not too late now. But you've got to do it now. At number
Yeah.
10, we've got probably a villain to a lot of Supercoach people out there, Bailey Humphrey, after a score of 151 after a previous few poor scores. People are looking to jump back on again, and I'd just love to think what exactly has changed. 371k. The role looks to be the exact same as what we bought him for. Looks like he's just a roller coaster guy. Unfortunate for people that traded him out last week. That was super stiff. That's just super coach heritage right there. Scoring 150 after trading him out. 20 break even. I just wouldn't bother. Like, what are we doing here? You just let it go. Just let it go. I wouldn't bother at 371k.
Yeah, well, if the issue with he scored 5 goals against the Swans, I think, so that's why he got such a spike score. If I was to get some random guy that I thought would make cash after hitting the heights, it's probably like a. I know it sounds really weird for this segment. Like if Peter Wright went 130 tonight, I've considered him because he could have been a bit of a cash play at like three similar price because he's got that 145 in his system. And then you look at other players that have been mentioned to me before on X, is like Charles could make you a bit of money, but I certainly wouldn't go the issue of a Humphrey. I know Charles a wild one. I love a good wild, weird, yucky pod that could pay off and make you cash like Tex Walker did about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it happened.
Yeah.
But I just don't think Humphrey is your sort of pod pick now. I think you missed the boat and you're just sort of hoping that his role isn't more midfield. It's just because he kicked 5 goals, he got such a big game, and he burnt us owners that held him. And I got rid of him 2 weeks ago, so I missed the 40 score, but certainly pisses me off now. He's got 150 or whatever.
Yeah, so a lot of villain to super coaches out there. So yeah, I wouldn't bother. And it's always a pleasure to watch Marby or Charles. So but Peter Wright is doing the backup ruck work when Goldstein's on the bench. So it's not the worst play in the world. So there we go. I know you got to get going, Brad. Just one final question. With I know he's not on here, but Elijah Sardis has been named for tonight. Would you trump him ahead of any of these other downgrade options for this week, or just too worried about Caldwell and Shield back next week?
Yeah, as you said, I'm too worried about those two guys coming back next week, and knowing our luck anyway, he'll probably be sub tonight. But I think a lot of people are trading him in. But I just can't see a world where Scott actually gives him an opportunity now. And you'd have to have like a few injuries in that Essendon side for him to even get a gig or even breathe some air.
He needs an absolute legacy game to stay in that team. So,
Yep.
yeah, if you've got him, that's perfectly fine. Just enjoy it tonight. But we'll
Yep.
see how it goes in selection next week. We'll wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, Brad. It's always a pleasure to have you on the channel.
Yep. Thank you for having me, mate. I appreciate your time and good luck this week. Hopefully you go big again.
Yeah, you too, mate. Win it for us Supercoach YouTubers, mate. So no pressure. Thank you guys all for tuning in for Jump On, Jump Off. Best of luck for this weekend, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.